Hi, and welcome to another video on the Voice Lessons playlist for Persephone Music's YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about breathing. For singers, breathing is number one. It's the most important skill you need to have to be a successful singer with a long career. So the main focus with breathing is to use the body in the way that it was intended to be used in order to propel the sound outwards and to project, you've heard that word a lot, project the sound so that you can fill up a recital hall or a large space without needing a microphone. I'm going to demonstrate how to properly breathe as a singer so that you have a good starting point. So, we've done our ragdoll stretch. We've stretched up, forward, and down. We've rolled up, and we are now in our noble posture, or our singing position. Now, once you've achieved this posture, just breathe naturally for a few minutes. Feel your body breathing. Focus on the way it wants to breathe naturally. Place your hands on your stomach and feel it rise and fall with the breath. Now place your hands on your rib cage and feel that rise and fall with the breath. Now these changes are minor as we're just taking shallow breaths needed for a resting position. But when we're exercising or doing any kind of physical activity, including singing, our body needs to amplify this movement in order to get enough air into the lungs, to have enough oxygen supplied for the body. Additionally, as a singer, we need to get enough air into the lungs to propel our sound. Observe the difference between the sound of unsupported and supported singing. This is unsupported. Notice how I had to raise my chin to get the sound I wanted? My abdominal muscles were not being used, and I was singing completely from the throat. Now, listen to that same pitch with a good support underneath. It's a much better sound. And I was even singing in my chest voice. If I were to sing that note an octave higher, I would never be able to achieve that note without proper breath support. Now, how do we breathe? It's simple. Whenever you are inhaling, you want to expand these muscles. Your abs are not just these. Your abdominal muscles wrap around your entire torso. They include the back and the sides as well. We cannot forget about our obliques, our transverse obliques, and all of these other muscle groups, as well as the main abdominal muscle group in the front. You want to take a breath, inhale by expanding these muscles outwards, by increasing the size of your torso, like so. When you do this, your lungs will fill completely with air, and you'll feel that you've gotten a good, deep breath. When you're ready to exhale, you simply pull these muscles back inwards gently, creating a firm foundation, and the air will be expelled out naturally. Try it a couple of times. Now, as a singer, it's also important to have a good rib cage lift. So when you inhale, feel your rib cage lift and expand. And as you exhale, work to keep your rib cage up and expanded for as long as possible while exhaling. This is something that takes lots of practice and work to do without creating excess tension. But once you can achieve this, you'll be able to sing long flowing lines and high notes for as long as you like. Now that we know how to breathe, let's begin with a simple breathing exercise that I use with all of my voice students, no matter their age. This exercise helps the student to begin to get in touch with their body and how we are designed to breathe. It also helps my students to learn how to use the air appropriately. What we're going to do is we're going to take a large, deep breath and inhale, and then we are going to exhale on a hissing noise like this for as long as possible. I will now demonstrate. Now I exhaled very rapidly. When I have my students do this exercise, I encourage them to exhale as smoothly and steadily as possible so that they can exhale for as long as possible. A good goal for this exercise is approximately 30 seconds. Exhaling on a hiss for 30 seconds. If you can achieve that goal, you'll be able to sing longer phrases. When you're exhaling in that breathing exercise, you want to use your muscles in your abdomen to control the flow of air so that you're not exhaling too fast or too slowly. The second breathing exercise I have my students do is also a hissing exercise. And again, we want to use the abdominal muscles all the way around to control the flow of air. In this exercise, we are hissing in rhythm. I begin simply with quarter notes, then eighth notes, triplets, and then finally for my advanced students, 16th notes. We hiss for 8 counts on each note value and then move on. The goal is to go for as long as possible, only using one breath. I will demonstrate this for you now. When you use the abdominal muscles to control the air, you're keeping all of these muscles relaxed. And your tongue. The tongue is something that we often neglect. And when we use the tongue to help control the air in a hissing exercise such as that, we create tension in our jaw that moves down into our neck that can inhibit good singing practices. A good way to start with this exercise is to begin with just quarter notes and eighth notes, and repeat those as many times as possible on one breath. When you've succeeded in repeating that 3 times on one breath, add the triplets and repeat that as many times as you can on one breath, and so on and so on. The last exercise I use with my voice students is this breathing exercise I learned in college that my voice teacher had us do all the time. The main purpose of it is to increase lung capacity and strengthen muscles that you need for good breathing. What you want to do is spread your feet apart a little bit wider than shoulder width. Place your hands comfortably on your hips. You're going to take a large breath, hold it, and while you're holding the breath, you're going to bend from side to side like so. I will now demonstrate this exercise. You want to hold your breath and move like that for as long as you can. Again, a good goal for this exercise is about a minute. Once you've achieved that, you should be able to start singing longer phrases. I hope these exercises were helpful for you today. Again, the goal of good breath technique when you're singing is to keep the breathing low and deep. When you're inhaling, if you can hear yourself inhale with a sharp then you know you have not taken a good breath. When singing, the inhalation should be almost silent. Whenever you learn to breathe this way, you will find that singing becomes easier and you can sing more difficult and technically challenging music with longer phrases and higher and lower notes. We should always have good breath support, even when we are singing in the comfortable part of our range. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below, or you can email me at jamie@persephonemusic.com. I hope you enjoyed the video today, and happy singing.